How's it going, everybody? Johnny Spurban here, and there's only one thing left to do to complete this stellar NHL season. That's right, it's time for the awards show, coming to you this Wednesday, June 22nd, 2011, from Las Vegas, Nevada. Alright, so let's go down the list and see who the nominees are for all the trophies, shall we? So let's start with the awards that have already been determined. Your Stanley Cup champions for the 2010-2011 season, the Boston Bruins. Good job, Boston. You put a hell of a team together, and you had a hell of a season. No one deserved it more. Except for maybe these guys, the Vancouver Canucks, who took home the President's Trophy, the best team in the regular season, with 54 wins, 19 losses, and 9 overtime losses. They had a great year, but one game too short. That's alright, you guys will be back next year, and I'm sure your stupid fans from Vancouver will be back again, sure to riot next time you guys lose. Ugh, stupid Vancouver. I mean, you guys should take a note from this guy, Tim Thomas. Nothing phases him. And what does he have to show for it? A Conn Smythe, a Stanley Cup, all this hardware, alright? Tim Thomas, absolute beast. He is an A-plus goalie. He's not a lucky goalie, okay? He's an A-plus goalie who you want in a pressure game. Tim Thomas, best goalie in the world. Count it. Okay, so let's move on to the Art Ross Trophy. The Art Ross is given to the player who receives the most amount of points at the end of the regular season, and it goes to Daniel Sedin with 104 points. What a season he had at Vancouver. Too bad he couldn't win the Stanley Cup to top it all off nicely. But, Daniel, I can't wait to see what you're going to do next year. Should be very, very interesting. From the Art Ross, we go to Maurice Richard. Instead of points, we got goals. Who ended the season with the most goals? It was none other than Corey Perry, who finished with 50 goals. Not a bad season, but here's the thing. It wasn't Stamkos, it wasn't Crosby, it wasn't Malkin, it wasn't Ovechkin. It was Corey Perry. It came out of left field. I know he's a good player, but I just haven't seen him in the goal-scoring race. But I mean, he does have a good team. Getzlaf, Ryan, Visnovsky. So I want to see what you're going to do next year, Corey Perry. Can you repeat? Can you repeat? We will have to see. The William Jennings Trophy goes to the two goalies who played for the team with the fewest amount of goals scored against them during the regular season. So that would be the Vancouver Canucks, Corey Schneider and Roberto Luongo. Good job, guys. You guys only allowed 185 goals against this year. Very good. Very, very good. So now let's talk about the awards that haven't been determined yet. And first up is the Vezina Trophy, which goes to the goalkeeper best judged by all the general managers in the league. That's right. It goes between Roberto Luongo, Pekka Rinne, and Tim Thomas. Now I think it's going to be Tim Thomas hands down this year. He led in save percentage, goals against average, he won the Conn Smythe, he won the Stanley Cup. You got to give it to Tim Thomas this year, boys. You have to. Now on to the Frank Selke Award, which is given to the best defensive forward in the regular season. Now your nominees are Pavel Datsyuk, Ryan Kesler, and Jonathan Toews. My pick would have to be Ryan Kesler. I mean, throughout the playoffs, every time I was watching the game, the first forward back was always Ryan Kesler. He's an absolute beast who understands that defense is more important than offense. Good job, Ryan. Now, the Lady Byng Trophy is given to the player who demonstrates the best sportsmanship while still playing at a high level. Usually, Pavel Datsyuk wins this every year, but this year, we got Louis Eriksson, Nicklas Lidstrom, and Martin St. Louis. I don't care for this trophy. I say give it to Nicklas Lidstrom. He's coming back for one more year, thank God. One more year, 20 plus years in the NHL, just give it to him. He deserves it. Now on to my favorite trophy, the Calder Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. The player we're going to be watching for the next 10 years. You got Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks, Mikhail Grabner of the New York Islanders, and Jeff Skinner of the Carolina Hurricanes. I got to give it to Jeff Skinner. 60 plus points this year. You know, they were all 30 goal scorers, which is great, but Skinner had a lot of assists as well. Watch out for Skinner in the future. Calder Trophy, it's all his, baby. Now let's talk about the James Norris Trophy, which simply put is the best defenseman in the league this year. It goes to either Zdeno Chara, Nicklas Lidstrom, or Shea Weber, who's the newcomer here. I gotta go with Shea Weber. I mean, Zdeno Chara had Boston. Nicklas Lidstrom had Detroit. Shea Weber has Nashville. I mean, I'm not knocking Nashville, they're an okay team, but they're no Boston and they're no Detroit. Shea Weber, 26-year-old newcomer, I think you deserve the Norris Trophy, and I want to see what you have next year, boy. So now let's talk about the Hart Trophy. The Hart Trophy is awarded to the player judged to be most valuable to his team. And here we have a tough group. I mean, you have Corey Perry, Daniel Sedin, and Martin St. Louis. Let's start with Corey Perry. Corey Perry, without him, the Anaheim Ducks still have Ryan Getzlaf, Bobby Ryan, Lubomir Visnovsky. They're still a solid team. Vancouver Canucks, without Daniel Sedin, they're still a solid team. They have Ryan Kesler, the other Sedin, Burrows, their whole defensive core, Roberto Luongo. They're a solid team. But then you look at Tampa Bay. Without Martin St. Louis, let me ask you a question. Is Steven Stamkos a 50-goal scorer? I don't think he is. I think Martin St. Louis deserves to win the Hart Trophy. That's right. He is the most valuable player out of this list. Tampa Bay would be nowhere without Martin St. Louis. So let's move on to our last trophy of the night. It's the Johnny Superman Trophy, given to the player who had the biggest breakout this year. And it goes to Brad Marchand on the Boston Bruins. This guy is absolutely outstanding. He chirps, he grinds, he scores goals, he dekes players out, he gets points. He's everything you want. He's a good Canadian boy who can deliver in the playoffs. Brad Marchand, Johnny Superman Trophy. Good job, brother. Good job. Alright, boys. Be sure to watch the NHL Awards this Wednesday, June 22nd, 2011. It should be a good one. For Johnny Superman and the Great Domsky, keep your sticks down and your heads up. Take it easy, boys.